Okay, everyone, here are the solutions for the questions that I asked you to do over the weekend. So the first one, it says, here's the net of a right triangular prism. The area of the face is given. What is the surface area of the prism? How did you find out? So if we think of this as all of these different shapes, okay, we've got area, this first one here, that would be our A. That wasn't very well written. B and C, and then these two are D. Since we've already got the area, all we really need to do is add these together. And then we got 16.5 plus 16.5. So when I do that, the total area, that's what I'm looking for, right? So I have 32 plus 16 is 48. I'm just going to do this in a couple steps. Plus the 16 and 16 is going to give me 33. So then I have 81 centimeters squared. Really, all I'm doing is thinking, okay, that's a net, so if I folded that back up, that's going to be my prism, and I just need to add those together. In this next one, it's what we practiced last week. What we first have to do is draw a net. I'm going to really quickly just go over again with the triangle, right? We want to make sure that we are using this and this. They have to make perpendicular lines. The 12 is the height and the 25 is the base. When we look at the triangle, we have three different lengths of sides. We got that one, we have the 25 here, and we have, I'm going to grab green there, 20 there. Okay, and then I have this 30 in red. Okay, so I've got a bunch of different measurements there, but my rectangles are all going to have this 30 centimeters in common. And then each one of the rectangles is going to have the 15, 25, and 20 as their other dimensions. So we're going to have three different rectangles. So I'm just going to draw this real quick. My net. It's not a right angle triangle, so I have to show a little bit of an angle there. Really quickly. And then I've got, oops. Just going to erase those little marks real quick. A, B, and C. And then I'm going to call these D. Alright, so I've got my 30 centimeters as this measurement all the way down, and then I'm going to go, this is my 15 centimeters here, 15 centimeters, and then I've got 20 centimeters here, and it's the same on the other side, and then I'm left with 25 as the base centimeters. And then I also have to put in the height at 12 centimeters. So I've got all my sides, and then I just need to calculate it. So I got area of A is equal to base times height. I only have one rectangle. The dimensions of A are 15 times 30, which is going to give me 450 centimeters squared. And then area of B, I've got, again, base times height. This time I've got 25 times 30, so that's 750 centimeters squared. And then area of C is equal to, again, base times height. I always want you putting your formulas in. And then I've got 30 times 20, so that's 600 centimeters squared. All right, and now I've got area of D. So, as we've talked about, we have two triangles, and the formula for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Okay, when we do that, we have 2 times, my base is 25 times 12. And I'm going to divide that by 2. Remember, we can simplify those right away. We don't have to multiply, divide, and then multiply again by 2. Okay, so I'm left with 25 times 12, and 25 times 12 is 250 plus another 50. That's going to give me 300. centimeters squared. And then the last thing I have to do, I'm just going to scroll up just a little bit here, give myself a little bit more space, is just add these together. 450 plus 750 plus 600 plus 300. 450 and 750 is 1200 plus 900 for those two. So I get a final answer of 2100 centimeters squared. So that's how we do the net and how we do the calculations. In the next question, we have 4 triangular prisms. I'm not going to do a net for those ones. We're just going to calculate it out. So, like I said, I'm not going to do a net for these ones. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so we can see it a little bit better. But we're just going to calculate it. So I've got an equilateral triangle now. Okay, so because I have these little marks here, that means that all the sides of my triangle are the same. So, because you might be saying I only have one measurement on the triangle here. I've got the height and the base, but I don't have the other two sides. Well, that's because it's equilateral. So what that means is that my 3 rectangles are all going to be the same. Actually, you know what? I am going to draw a quick net of this one. My 3 rectangles are all going to be the same. Okay, so what that means is, change color here, this one, this one, they're all the same length. They're 7 centimeters. And then I have, this is 5 centimeters, right? And then that one, and that one. So these are all A. Okay, I also have my height here of 6.1 centimeters. Those are all A. So when I'm doing that calculation, I can multiply that by 3. So if I go area of A is equal to 3 times base times height, I get 3 times, I'm going to put that in brackets, 5 times 7. So I get 3 times 35, which is going to give me 105 centimeters squared. Then, if I think about the triangle, I have area of, I never labeled that, but let's call it B. B equals 2 times base times height divided by 2 equals 2, and I've got 7 times 6.1, funky looking bracket, divided by 2. Remember that we can simplify these or cancel them out. You know that I don't like that term cancel out, but we'll use it. And then if I throw 7 times 6.1 into my calculator, I get 42.7 centimeters squared. So then I'm just going to add 105 and 42.7, and I get 147.7 centimeters squared. So that's the first one. That's A. Now I've got prism B. Down here, it shows me that these two sides are the same. So that means I'm going to have 2 rectangles that are the same, and then I have another side here. Okay. 10 is the common dimension between all of them. So I am going to call, let's say, this rectangle on the front. You know what? I'm going to draw another net for you guys just because it'll make it easier. All right. So I've got my net again. Boom, boom. Looks exactly the same as the other one. We're just going to give it some different measurements, okay? So this time, these ones are all the same. It's not every single side that's the same, but a lot of them are. So that's going to make this A and that A. I'm not going to write in all the dimensions this time. That's B, and these are C. So if I go area of A, I have 2 of those. Base times height, okay? Those ones were 3.2 centimeters, and 5 is on this side. Okay, so I've got 3.2 times 5. Oh, I forgot to multiply all of that by 3. Add more brackets, or sorry, 2, not 3. And 3.2 times 5 gives me 16. So 2 times 16 is going to give me 32. And again, my measurement is centimeters squared. Okay, and then I'm going to go area of B. That's my other rectangle. base times height. There's only one of them. This time my dimensions are 5 and it's this one here, so 3. That's fairly easy to say, 15 centimeters squared. And then I've got area of C, which is my triangle, so I got 2 times, actually I'm going to move that over, so it's kind of in the same spot. Area of C is 2 times base times height divided by 2. And I get 2, and my base is 3 centimeters, and my height is 2.8. So I got 3 times 2.8 divided by 2. Remember, these simplify. So when I throw 3 times 2.8 into my calculator, I get 8.4 centimeters squared. And then I'm just going to add all those together. 32, 15, and 8.4. I'm going to add these point zeros just so they look a little bit better. 4, add my decimal 15, and 55.4 centimeters squared. Last two. All right, these ones I should be able to do fairly easily without having to draw a net, hopefully. All right, so we've got the bottom we're going to call A. This one we're going to call B. This side we're going to call C. And the triangle is going to be D. We have 3 different dimensions on the rectangle, so we have to do area of A, B, and C. I'm just going to really quickly throw in my formulas there. Okay, so my dimensions of A, since I'm calling the bottom A, I've got 5. Every one of those is going to have 5, and then the other dimension is 6. So that gives me 30 centimeters squared. So then for B, I've got 5 again, and then it's this hypotenuse, okay, the kind of angle on the right triangle. So it's going to be 7.5. So I got 5 times 7.5. I think that's 37.5, but I'm going to double check in my calculator. I am right, 37.5 centimeters squared. And then my last one is 5 and 4.5. So that one's going to be 22.5 centimeters squared. Then I have the triangle. So I'm just going to erase a couple lines here, and we're going to look at the triangle independently. The 3 measurements of the triangle, okay, which we're calling D, are 4.5, 6, and 7. Remember that the base and the height are the 2 that form the right angle. So the area of D, I've got 2 of them. 2 base times height divided by 2, so 2, 4.5 times 6 over 2. These simplify, and 4.5 times 6, throw that in my calculator. I was right in my head, 27 centimeters squared. And then I'm going to add all of these together. It's really important that you're showing this step of adding them together as a separate step. I want to see that you understand that. 17, you guys can throw this into your calculator. You don't need to do this in your head, but 1,117 centimeters squared. I think that's right. Give me half a second to throw that into my calculator. And I was right. Bingo, bango, bongo. Okay, so 117 centimeters squared. And then we've got the very last one. Again, we're going to it's a right angle triangle, so it's basically the exact same thing. We've got 3 different sides. I'm going to call this side A. We'll call this side B. The bottom's going to be C, and then our triangle is going to be D. So A, area of A, I've got 6 centimeters. Oh, almost forgot my formula. 6, and then the common dimension is 20, so that's 120 centimeters squared. Area of B, base times height. This time it's 8 and 20 are my dimensions, so that's 160 centimeters squared. Area of C is base times height. I said the bottom was C, so that's going to be this 10 centimeters. So 20 times 10 is 200 centimeters squared. All right, so just to go back to my triangle for a second, the two dimensions, the two lines that make a perpendicular line or a right angle are 6 centimeters and 8 centimeters. So I've got area of D is equal to 2, because I have two triangles. Base times height divided by 2 equals 2. 6 times 8 divided by 2. Those simplify, and then I get 48 centimeters squared. So add them up. 160, 200, and 48. 8's all by itself. That's going to be 12, and I get 528 centimeters squared. And that is it for those questions.